She said, "I gave your PS5 to my nephew. You're 32. Stop playing video games." It was a limited edition worth $2,000 that I'd saved for months to buy. I said, "Kids should have fun." Then I sold her MacBook Pro on Facebook Marketplace for $200 and donated the money to charity. When she noticed it was missing, original post, "I, 32 male, have been dating my girlfriend for about 14 months. We moved in together 6 months ago into my apartment. My name's on the lease, has been for 3 years before she moved in. I pay 60% of the rent because I make more. She covers utilities and groceries." Seemed fair at the time. Seemed like a partnership. Some context about me. I work as a network administrator for a mid-sized company. It's a solid job, decent benefits, steady paycheck. Nothing glamorous, but it pays the bills. I don't have expensive taste in most areas of my life. I drive a 10-year-old Honda Civic with 140K miles. I buy clothes maybe twice a year when the old ones get holes. And my idea of a fancy dinner is Chipotle with guac added. I'm not trying to impress anyone, but I have one hobby that I genuinely love and have loved since I was a kid: gaming. I'm not addicted or anything. I play maybe 8 to 10 hours a week, usually a couple hours after work to decompress or on weekend mornings while my girlfriend sleeps in until noon. It's how I stay connected with my college buddies who live in different states now. We do online sessions every Wednesday night. Been doing it for 6 years. It's my thing. Everyone's got a thing. Last year, I decided to treat myself to something special. There was a limited edition PS5 being released, special anniversary color scheme, custom controller with unique designs, collector's packaging, the whole deal. Only 12,000 units were made worldwide. Retail price was $699, but because of the scarcity, resale values were hitting $2,000 plus on secondary markets. These things were basically unicorns. I got incredibly lucky. A major retailer did a lottery system for the chance to purchase one at retail price. I entered not expecting anything, and I won. Out of probably hundreds of thousands of entries, I actually got selected. I saved for 4 months to afford it comfortably without touching my emergency fund. Packed lunches instead of buying food at work. Cut my streaming services down to just one. Said no to a few nights out with friends. When that console finally arrived at my door, I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. I'm not ashamed to admit I took pictures of the unboxing. My girlfriend never loved my gaming hobby. From early in our relationship, she'd make little comments. "Aren't you a little old for video games?" My ex never played video games. He was more into sports. "I wish you'd spend that time on something productive like the gym or learning a skill." I mostly let it slide because relationships require give and take, and she has her own hobbies I don't fully understand, like spending $200 a month on skincare products that all look identical to me, or watching reality TV for hours every night. We all have our things. I thought we'd accepted that about each other. 2 weeks ago, her sister came to visit for a weekend with her 11-year-old son, my girlfriend's nephew. Decent kid, a little spoiled maybe, but not terrible overall. He saw my PS5 setup and lost his mind. Asked if he could play. I said sure, supervised him for about an hour, showed him some age-appropriate games. He had a blast. I didn't mind. I like kids, and sharing something you love with someone who's excited about it is fun. When I left Sunday evening, I noticed the nephew kept looking back at my entertainment center like the console owed him money. His mom had to practically drag him out the door. Last Saturday, I came home from a half day at work to find my entertainment center looking wrong. Empty. The PS5 was gone. The custom controller was gone. All my game discs were still there in their cases, but the console itself had completely vanished. My first genuine thought was that we'd been robbed. My heart started pounding. I checked the windows for broken glass, looked for signs of forced entry, walked through the apartment looking for anything else missing. I was about to call 911 when my girlfriend walked out of the bedroom, looking completely casual, scrolling through her phone. "Me? Babe, someone took my PS5. I think we need to call the police right now." Her, "Oh, yeah, no. I gave that to my nephew." I just stared at her. The words didn't process. "You what?" Her, "I gave it to him. He couldn't stop talking about it after he visited, called my sister every day asking about it, and she mentioned he's been struggling in school lately. Bad grades, no motivation. I figured the PlayStation could be like a reward system, you know? Get good grades, get to play. It'll be good for him. Me, you gave away my $2,000 console to motivate an 11-year-old to do his homework. Her, it's not worth $2,000. Don't be so dramatic. It's a video game machine. And honestly, you're 32 years old. You really shouldn't be spending that much time on games anyway. It's kind of embarrassing when my friends ask what you're doing and I have to say you're playing video games. This is probably good for you too. I felt my brain physically short-circuit. She gave away my property, something I saved for months to afford, something rare that I waited in a lottery to get, without asking me, without even mentioning it beforehand, and then told me it was good for me. Like I should be thanking her. Me, that was a limited edition console. Only 12,000 made in the entire world. I entered a lottery and got lucky. I literally cannot just buy another one. Her, so buy a regular PS5. They're like $500 at any Walmart. Same thing basically. Me, that's not the point. Her, the point is you're being incredibly selfish right now. It's a toy. My nephew is a child who actually needs entertainment and motivation. You're a grown adult man who should have better things to do with his time than sit in front of the TV pressing buttons. I took a breath, then another. I felt something shift inside me, like a door quietly closing, like a decision being made without my conscious input. Me, you know what? You're absolutely right. Kids should have fun. I totally get it. She looked so relieved, smiled at me like I'd finally come to my senses. See, I knew you'd understand once you actually thought about it, instead of reacting emotionally. It's just stuff. Family is more important. I smiled back, told her I was tired, and went to bed early that night. Couldn't actually sleep, but I stayed in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking. The next morning was Sunday. She left around 10 a.m. for brunch with her sister, a weekly thing they do. I knew from experience I had at least 3 hours before she'd be back. Her MacBook Pro was sitting on the kitchen table where she always left it. She bought it about 2 years ago, 16-inch screen, and 1 Pro chip, 1 terabyte storage, the works. Paid around $2,800 for it at the time. She used it for work occasionally, maybe once or twice a month when she worked from home, but mostly it was a very expensive Netflix machine and online shopping portal. The thing was basically a $2,800 streaming device. I picked it up, examined it, made sure it wasn't locked to her iCloud in a way that would make it unusable. Then I took photos of it from every angle, noting minor scratches and wear. Created a listing on Facebook Marketplace. Priced it at $200 for an immediate sale. I wanted this. Done fast. Within 15 minutes, I had about 20 messages. A college student said he could come pick it up within the hour. Cash only. He showed up in 40 minutes, counted out 10 $20 bills, and left with a laptop worth 14 times what he paid. Nice kid. Seemed like he couldn't believe his luck. Probably thought something was wrong with it. I took that $200, drove to the local animal shelter, the big county one about 20 minutes away, and donated it. In my girlfriend's name. Got an official receipt and everything. The volunteer at the desk even said they'd mail out a personalized thank you card to the donor. Then I drove back home, sat down on the couch in front of my empty entertainment center, and waited. She got back around 3 p.m., shopping bags in hand, chatting on her phone with her sister about some drama with their mom. She went to the kitchen to grab her laptop, probably to show her sister something online. She came back into the living room, looking genuinely confused. Her, where's my MacBook? Me, oh, yeah, I sold that. The color drained from her face completely. You what? Me, I sold it this morning. On Facebook Marketplace. Got $200 for it. Then I donated the money to the county animal shelter. They're going to send you a nice thank you card in the mail. Her, that was a $3,000 computer. Me, it's not worth $3,000. Don't be so dramatic. It's basically a Netflix machine. And honestly, you're 30 years old. You could probably use the digital detox. This is probably good for you too. She started screaming. Not yelling, actually screaming. Words I won't repeat here because I'm trying to keep this somewhat clean. Her, that is not the same thing. Me, you're right. It's not. My PS5 was actually rare and irreplaceable. A limited edition. Your laptop can be purchased at any Apple store in America anytime you want. Her, I need that for work. Me, you used it for work maybe twice a month. Your company gave you an actual work laptop. I've seen you use it. It's sitting in your bag right now. Her, you had no right. Me, neither did you. But here we are. She immediately called her sister, crying, pacing around the apartment. I could hear fragments of the conversation. He's completely lost his mind, sold my computer for nothing. I need to come stay with you tonight. Her sister apparently suggested calling the police. My girlfriend said she was going to. I told her to go ahead, be my guest. Here's the thing that people don't always understand about situations like this. Legally, we're both standing in murky water. She gave away my property without consent. I sold hers without consent. Both actions are arguably theft or conversion. Both arguably fall under some implied cohabitation consent, depending on jurisdiction and interpretation. Any cop responding to this is going to look at two adults arguing over electronics and tell us it's a civil matter, which is exactly what happened. The officer who showed up looked exhausted before he even walked through the door. He listened to both sides, took some notes, told us neither of us should have touched each other's belongings without permission, and said if we wanted to pursue this legally, we need to go through small claims court. Then he gave us both a look that clearly said, "Please don't call us again," and left. My girlfriend packed a bag and went to her sister's place that night. That was 6 days ago. I've received approximately 65 texts from her ranging from, "I can't believe you would do this to me," to "You owe me $3,000 minimum," to "I'm telling literally everyone what kind of person you are." Her mother called me yesterday, left a voicemail saying I was abusive and financially controlling, and that her daughter deserves so much better than a man who plays video games and throws tantrums. I called her back, asked if her daughter had told her the complete story, specifically the part where she gave away my limited edition console first, without asking, and told me I should be grateful. There was a long pause. Then she said, "That's completely different. That was for a child who needed it." I said, "And the animal shelter donation was for puppies and kittens. I guess we both care about helping the young ones." She hung up on me. Reddit, I know this probably wasn't the mature way to handle things. Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Turn the other cheek, be the bigger person, all that. But I spent 4 months saving for that console. I got impossibly lucky in a lottery to even have the chance to buy it. It was mine. She didn't ask. She didn't apologize after. She told me it was good for me, like I should send her a thank you note. I don't want a relationship back. That became crystal clear the moment she said, "You shouldn't be spending time on games anyway." She doesn't respect my hobbies. She doesn't respect my property. She doesn't respect me. But I'm genuinely wondering, did I take it too far with the MacBook? Part of me thinks yes, absolutely. Part of me thinks she desperately needed to understand what it feels like to have someone unilaterally decide you don't deserve your own belongings. Either way, I'm currently single, PlayStation-less, and strangely at peace with both of those facts. Update 1. 5 days later. Things have escalated in ways I genuinely didn't see coming. Thanks to everyone who commented on my last post. The support meant more than I expected, and the people calling me petty also helped keep me grounded because, yeah, fair point. Quick clarification from the comments. Yes, she's still technically on my lease as an approved occupant, not as a co-signer. She has no legal claim to the apartment itself. That becomes relevant shortly. Here's what happened since Sunday. My girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, I've accepted that, has been staying at her sister's place. I figured after a few days of cooling off, we'd have a rational adult conversation about untangling our lives. Split any remaining shared expenses, establish a timeline for her to get her stuff, handle this like two mature people who made mistakes. Instead, Monday evening, she sent her brother-in-law to my apartment. There's a knock on my door around 7 p.m. I open it expecting a package delivery or maybe a neighbor. It's her sister's husband, a guy I'd met maybe 4 times total at various family events. Big guy, works construction or something similar. Never had any issues with him before. Him, "We need to talk about what you did to my sister-in-law." Me, "Okay, do you want to come in?" Or him, "No, I want you to understand something very clearly. You humiliated her. You sold her property for basically nothing. You made her cry for 3 straight days. That's not how a real man behaves." Me, "Did she mention that she gave away my PlayStation first? Without asking me? A console worth about $2,000 that I saved for months to buy. She said you had some video game thing, that she gave it to a kid who actually needed it. That's completely different. Me, how exactly is it different? Because she was trying to be nice to family, to help a child. You were trying to be cruel and vindictive. I actually laughed. I know I shouldn't have. It definitely didn't help the situation, but I genuinely couldn't help it. She gave away my personal property without my permission because she unilaterally decided I was too old to have hobbies. I responded in kind. If my response was cruel, then so was hers. Can't have it both ways. He stepped closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne. I'm going to say this one time. You're going to pay her back for that laptop. Every single penny. Or things are going to get very uncomfortable for you. Me? Is that a threat? Consider it strong advice. Me, cool. Here's some advice for you. I'm not paying a dime. Your wife's sister gave away something that belonged to me without asking. I did the exact same thing back. We're even. If she wants to take me to small claims court over it, she's welcome to try. But I'd recommend against it because I'll countersue for my PS5 and we'll both look like idiots in front of a judge arguing about who started it. He stared at me for a long, uncomfortable moment. Then he said, "You're going to regret this," and walked away down the hallway. Real intimidating stuff. I was shaking in my gaming chair, truly terrified. Tuesday, I got a long text message from my ex, multiple paragraphs about how I'd ruined her life and destroyed her ability to work effectively and violated her trust in ways she'll never be able to recover from. Then came the demand. Either return the MacBook immediately or pay her $2,800 for a replacement. I replied, "Return my PS5 or pay me $2,000 for it. Then we'll discuss your laptop situation." I can't return it. My nephew has it now. My sister says he's already been using it for a week. Me, then I can't return your laptop either. The college student I sold it to has probably been using it all week too. Crazy how that works, isn't it? You're being completely impossible. Me, I'm being consistent. You took something of mine without asking. I took something of yours. You want to be made whole? So do I get my PS5 back, and I'll figure out a way to address the laptop situation. That's not fair. He's a child. He'll be completely devastated if someone takes it away from him now. Me, I was pretty devastated too when I came home and found my stuff missing. Weird how that didn't matter to you at the time. She stopped responding after that. Wednesday, things got significantly more interesting. Her mother showed up at my apartment unannounced. Didn't knock, just tried the handle, found it unlocked, and walked right in. I really need to develop the habit of locking my door during the day. We need to have a serious conversation, young man. Me, you could have called first. Or knocked. I shouldn't have to schedule an appointment to talk some sense into you. You need to understand the damage you've caused to this family. Me, I understand that your daughter gave away my property without asking, and I responded by doing the same thing. That's literally the entire situation. No. The situation is that you've traumatized my grandson. My older daughter, your girlfriend's sister, says he's now terrified that someone's going to come take his PlayStation away. He's been having nightmares about it. An 11-year-old boy. Nightmares. Me, ma'am, with all respect, I have absolutely no intention of taking anything from your grandson. I have a problem with your daughter's actions, not with the child. Then prove it. Pay my daughter back for the laptop, so we can all move on with our lives. Me, will your daughter pay me back for my PS5? That was a gift. For a child who needed it. Me, it wasn't hers to give. It was mine. I didn't consent to it being given away. How is this complicated? You're so fixated on that video game toy. Don't you see how incredibly childish that makes you look? Me, I'm fixated on being respected in my own home. Your daughter decided my hobby was worthless and my property was hers to redistribute as she saw fit. She made that choice completely on her own. I responded to that choice. If holding me accountable for my response, you need to hold her accountable for her action. Otherwise, this conversation is pointless. She called me several names I won't repeat here, told me I was exactly the kind of man she always warned her daughters about, and stormed out of my apartment, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the pictures on my walls. Great family. Really going to miss those holiday dinners. Thursday, I got home from work to find several boxes stacked outside my apartment door. My ex had apparently used her key, which I'd completely forgotten she still had, to enter while I was at work and remove some of my belongings. Not all my stuff, just the stuff she apparently decided was too childish for an adult man to own. My gaming headset, my small collection of figurines from games I love, some graphic novels, a few t-shirts with gaming-related designs, random stuff that represented my hobbies. She left a handwritten note on top of the boxes. Thought you might want these since you obviously care more about toys than you ever cared about people or relationships. I changed my locks that evening. Cost me $180 for an emergency locksmith visit, but absolutely worth it for peace of mind. Friday afternoon, her sister called me directly. First time I'd ever spoken to her one-on-one. Sister, look, I know this whole thing is a complete mess. I'm not calling to yell at you or threaten you. Me? Okay. I appreciate that. Sister, I just want to understand what actually happened here. My sister says you sold her laptop for $200 purely out of spite because you were mad about a video game. Is that accurate? Me? I sold it for $200 because I wanted a fast sale. The spite was a bonus. But let me ask you something. Did she tell you what she did first? Sister, she said she gave your PlayStation to my son because he really wanted it and you weren't using it that much anyway. Me? That PlayStation was a limited edition. Only 12,000 units made in the entire world. I won a lottery just for the chance to buy it at retail price. I saved for 4 months to afford it, and she gave it away without asking me, then told me it was good for me because I was too old for video games. Silence on the line. Sister, that PlayStation, it's really that rare? She told me it was just a regular gaming console. Me, it wasn't. It's effectively irreplaceable. If I wanted to find another one now, I'd be looking at $2,500 minimum on resale markets, assuming one even becomes available. And honestly, even if it was just a regular $500 console from any store, she still gave away my property without asking. That's the actual issue here, not the specific dollar amount. The fundamental disrespect. More silence. Then, she didn't tell me any of that. Me? I'm not surprised. Sister, I'll talk to her. She hung up. I'm not holding my breath for that conversation to change anything, but at least someone in that family heard the actual full story. Update 2. 9 days later. Hey Reddit. Lot of developments to cover here. First, some people asked about the legal situation. Here's where that ended up. My ex actually did consult with a lawyer. Her family found someone willing to send me an official demand letter. It arrived last Monday via certified mail, very official looking. It requested $2,800 for the MacBook Pro and threatened to pursue all available legal remedies if I didn't comply within 14 days. I responded with my own letter. My buddy's wife is a paralegal and helped me draft something properly formal. The letter acknowledged her claim regarding the laptop while asserting my counterclaim for the PS5. I documented everything thoroughly. The original receipt showing I paid $699, screenshots of current resale listings showing comparable units at $2,000 plus, the lottery confirmation email proving it was a genuine limited edition, and a complete timeline showing she gave it away without my knowledge or consent. My letter essentially concluded, your client disposed of my personal property worth approximately $2,000 without my authorization. If she wishes to pursue legal action regarding her laptop, I will countersue for my console, and a judge can determine the relative merits of each claim. Alternatively, I suggest we consider this matter mutually resolved and discontinue contact going forward. Her lawyer's response came Thursday. They were dropping the matter entirely. No payment demanded. No further legal action threatened. Turns out attorney fees and court costs aren't worth it when the absolute best-case outcome is both parties looking equally foolish in front of a judge over electronics. But dropping the legal approach didn't mean the family drama was over. Not even close. Her mother decided that if lawyers weren't going to solve this, public pressure might work better. She wrote a long post on Facebook, a platform I haven't actively used in years, but apparently plenty of mutual acquaintances still do, describing how I financially abuse her daughter by maliciously destroying her property and vindicatively refusing to make it right. Conveniently, The post mentioned nothing about her daughter giving away my belongings first. I found out about this because a coworker who's somehow connected to someone who knows her mother through church or something sent me screenshots. The post had accumulated maybe 40 comments, mostly from her extended family and church friends calling me various unflattering names and saying they pray for her daughter to find a real man who respects women. I wasn't going to engage publicly. That's not my approach to conflict. But one of her cousins, someone I never even met, actually reached out to me directly through Instagram. Her message just said, "I keep hearing different versions of this story. What actually happened?" So I told her, the complete, unedited version. Everything. I sent her the receipt for my PS5, screenshots of the text conversation with my ex, the timeline, everything I had documented. She believed me. And then she did something unexpected. She went back to her aunt's Facebook post and commented, "I actually talked to him directly. Turns out she gave away his $2,000 limited edition PlayStation first without asking him. Maybe get the complete story before posting this publicly." That post disappeared within an hour. Her mother blocked me on every platform, which is perfectly fine by me since I wasn't planning to reach out anyway. But here's where things got genuinely sad, at least to me. Last Tuesday evening, my ex showed up at my apartment door. Not screaming this time. Not demanding. She looked exhausted. Defeated, almost. She asked if we could talk for a few minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her in. Kept the apartment door propped open. Her, "I've had a lot of time to think about everything that happened." Me, "Okay." Her, "I'm not here to apologize. I still think you massively overreacted to the whole situation. But I also realize I probably should have talked to you first, before giving the PlayStation away." Me, "You should have." Her, "I just genuinely thought you'd eventually be fine with it. My nephew was so incredibly happy, and I've always believed you spent too much time gaming. I honestly thought I was helping you." Me, "Helping me would have been having a conversation with me about your concerns, sharing how you felt, asking me to compromise, not unilaterally giving away my stuff, and then telling me I should be grateful." Her, "I know that now. I don't understand the gaming thing. I never have. It seems like such a waste of time and money to me." Me, "And your skincare products seem like a waste of money to me. But I never threw away your $200 serums because I decided you'd be better off without them." She didn't have a response for that. Her, "I want to try to fix this. Maybe I could come back, get my things properly, and we could figure out if there's any way to, I don't know, start fresh." Me, "Start fresh? After everything that's happened over the past 2 weeks." Her, "We were together for over a year. Lived together for 6 months. That has to count for something." Me, "It did count for something. And then you gave away my property without asking, called me childish for being upset about it, and sent your family members to my apartment to threaten and berate me. Whatever foundation we had, you demolished it. I just lit a match in the rubble." She started crying quietly. I felt bad about that for maybe 30 seconds. Then I remembered exactly how she sounded when she said, "This is probably good for you too." Me, "You can come this weekend to get the rest of your stuff. I'll have everything boxed up and ready. But we're done as a couple. This isn't something we recover from." She left without arguing further. I think some part of her already knew it was over. Saturday, she arrived with her sister to collect her belongings. They loaded up boxes, her clothes, toiletries, kitchen items she'd brought, a small bookshelf that was hers. I helped carry the heavier stuff because I'm not trying to be cruel, just done. The whole process took about 2 hours. We barely exchanged 10 words. When everything was loaded into her sister's SUV, her sister pulled me aside privately. "Sister, for whatever it's worth, I had a real conversation with her this week. A long one. I don't think she actually understood what that PlayStation represented to you. She genuinely believed it was just a regular gaming console that you could easily replace." Me, "Maybe. But even if it was a regular $500 console, the issue isn't the dollar amount. It's that she decided her opinion of my hobby was more important than my ownership of my own stuff. She made a choice about my property without consulting me. That's not partnership. That's control." She nodded slowly. I told her basically the same thing. She wasn't ready to hear it. Me, "I figured as much. That's why we're here loading boxes." Sister, My son still has the PlayStation. I actually tried to convince her to ask for it back so you could have it returned, but she refused. Said you'd already gotten your revenge with the laptop and didn't deserve it back. Me, I expected that. But for what it's worth, and you can tell her this, I'm not going to pursue the console. Her nephew can keep it. I told your mother the same thing when she came here. I'm not taking anything away from a kid. He didn't do anything wrong in this situation. She looked genuinely surprised. Really? You're serious? Me, completely serious. It sucks that I lost it forever. But my problem was always with your sister's decision, not with an 11-year-old boy who just wanted to play video games. The irony of that isn't lost on me, by the way. She actually thanked me, which felt strange given everything. Then they drove away. Final update, 2 weeks later. Last update on this whole situation. I promise. My ex is completely moved out. The apartment feels noticeably empty without her furniture and decorations, but it also feels peaceful in a way it hasn't in months. I rearranged the living room, bought a new plant, put up some artwork I actually like. It's becoming my space again instead of our space. The limited edition PS5 is gone. Permanently. I've fully accepted that reality. I hooked up my old PS4 from storage, the one from before I upgraded, and it works fine. It's not the same experience, and looking at my entertainment center still stings a little, but I can play games with my friends again. That's what actually mattered. I could theoretically hunt down another limited edition unit on resale markets, but we're talking $2,500 plus for something that would just remind me of this whole disaster. The magic of that original purchase, the anticipation, the lottery win, the careful saving, can't be recreated by throwing money at the problem. So I'm letting it go. Financially, here's the final accounting. Why lost? Limited edition PS5, $2,000 value, paid $699. Emergency locksmith, $180. Various items she boxed up that got rained on before I noticed them outside. Maybe $100 worth of stuff. What she lost? MacBook Pro, $2, $800 value. The relationship, whether that's actually a loss for either of us, is debatable. Some commenters pointed out that she technically lost more money than I did. And mathematically, that's true. But she also initiated this entire situation by giving away my property and telling me I should thank her for it. If she'd come to me the next day and said, I made a terrible mistake, I'm so sorry, let me try to get it back from my sister, I honestly don't know if I could have forgiven her, but I definitely wouldn't have sold her laptop. The escalation happened because she doubled down instead of acknowledging any wrongdoing. That's what I couldn't get past. Not the PlayStation itself, but the complete absence of respect for my autonomy as an adult with my own valid interests. One small thing happened last week that I wanted to share before closing this out. I got an envelope in the mail from the animal shelter where I donated that $200. Inside was a thank you card featuring a photo of a dog they'd recently rescued. A goofy-looking mutt with one floppy ear and one that stood straight up. The card explained that my donation helped cover his medical treatment before he found his forever home. His name was Biscuit. The card was addressed to my ex, since I'd made the donation in her name. But it came to my address, since that's where she was living when I made it. I could have just thrown it away. Instead, I took a photo and texted it to her with no additional comment. Her response came in about 2 minutes. You're such an ass. I replied, his name was Biscuit. He found a family. You're welcome. She blocked me immediately after that, which is honestly probably healthy for both of us. Look, I'm not going to pretend I handled this situation perfectly. I didn't. The mature approach would have been to demand she retrieve the PlayStation, and if she refused, end a relationship and pursue the value through proper legal channels. That's what a calm, rational person would do. But I wasn't calm or rational in that moment. I was hurt and angry, and I wanted her to feel exactly what I felt. So I did something impulsive and admittedly petty. And you know what? I don't regret it. Maybe I should, but I genuinely don't. My buddy made an observation last weekend that stuck with me. He said I seem fundamentally different since the breakup. More relaxed. Less like I'm constantly walking on eggshells waiting for the next criticism. I hadn't realized how much mental energy I was spending managing her opinions of my hobbies, defending my interests, justifying how I spent my free time in my own home. I'm not anti-relationship or bitter about women or any of that. I'll date again eventually when I'm ready. But next time, I'm paying much closer attention to how someone treats my interests. Do they genuinely respect the things I enjoy, even if they don't personally share those interests? Or do they think their judgment of my hobbies matters more than my right to have them? Huge difference. I understand that now. Anyway, that's the complete story. Guy loses rare PlayStation, sells MacBook, accidentally funds a dog named Biscuit, ends up single, but surprisingly okay with the outcome. Thanks for following along, Reddit.